Hello everybody, thank you for joining another edition of Nick's Shooting Channel. Today I have the pleasure of a borrowed firearm from someone who goes by the name of Big E, which is a Hi-Point model JHP 45 ACP. Hi-Point is manufactured by Haskell Manufacturing in Lima, Ohio. So let's open up this box and see what you get. First we're going to check to make sure this chamber is clear, which there's no rounds here. We have no magazine, magazine's empty. And we have our magazine here with no ammo around. So safety check is done. Let me just put this box over here to the side. And let's talk about Hi-Point a little bit. So first, let's talk about maybe the not so good. This firearm is big, it's heavy, it's bulky, it's not so pretty, and we'll show some still shots here as well. When I say it's heavy, let's just throw this on the scale here. Looks like we're around 43 ounces if I can read upside down correctly. And when we add the empty magazine in there with it, looks like we're around 46 ounces. So not the lightest gun in the world. Overall, it's listed as 7.75 inches long. And the magazine is 9+1, one in the chamber. So that's kind of the summary of this firearm. Now for the benefit. The benefit is it's dirt cheap, and when you pull the trigger it goes bang, basically flawlessly. The list price for this I believe is around $200, although you can typically find it somewhere between $140 and $160, and that's very inexpensive for a 45 ACP. If you look here, we're going to have the two red rear sights and the one yellow front sight. And this is fully adjustable for windage and elevation. On this side over here, you have the slide holder. The slide holder actually acts as a safety as well. So if I close this slide here, you can see this also acts as a safety, so kind of dual purpose. And I'm sure that's one reason Hi-Point is able to get the cost down so much. So we've taken this out to the range, and it fired every time. No failure to feed, no failure to eject. And out of the 4 pistols I shot yesterday, I actually, surprisingly, was the most accurate with the Hi-Point. So I don't know if that says so much about the shooter or so much about the gun. When we went out there, I was hoping to not like the firearm, but I actually really enjoyed shooting it. Taking it apart, maybe not so much to clean afterwards, but anyway, we were able to do that. So speaking of taking it apart, I want to show you here how to do that. And this is not the most simple gun to strip down. But anyway, the first step is we're going to lock our slide back. And I'll show a still shot, but there's a little pin right here that you need to punch out. I do not have a punch, unfortunately, so I just have this little Allen wrench. And we're just going to punch this pin out here in the back. Let's lift this up just a little bit so I can finish popping this out. And you're going to get this pin here, and again we'll show you a still shot. And then you got to be careful when you do this. You're going to get, there's the firing pin, and then there's a few springs in here. So just like any firearm, you're going to kind of pull this back, and we're going to kind of go up and just let it slide forward here and kind of wiggle it around until we get everything out. And you can see you got to watch here that this spring guide and spring is apt to pop out. So now we have this, barrel's fixed. You can see here just shooting once we do get some scratching or some pitting here on top of the barrel, but seems to work fine anyway. So and then on here you're gonna see the bottom of your slide. You're gonna get this little guy here, and we'll show you some still shots of this. And then you're going to get a firing pin and 2 springs, 1 and 2. This bigger spring just kind of goes inside the smaller spring. So that's how you take this apart. And here, let me show you these parts here. And we'll show a still shot as well. So when you clean this, your firing pin is going to slide right inside this little slot here. So you just want to make sure you clean that out real well. And that's it for the parts of the gun. There's not so many moving parts. To put this back together, we're going to start by taking this firing pin, putting this down here like so, and take your two springs here. Remember, we have the larger spring outside the smaller diameter spring. And let me just slide those both in there together. And then you're going to take this guy here, and you're just going to slide him in, and it's poke-yoked, or there's a key slot, so it'll only go in one direction, just like so. Then you're going to take the front end of the spring guide rod. That's going to go towards the muzzle of the firearm, which is opposite of a lot of firearms. And you're going to kind of just slide the whole assembly on here and try to capture the spring. Now let's see if I can do this. When I was doing it yesterday, we had the spring snap off a few times. So let's just see if I can get this in here. Okay, so I got it in. I'm going to lock it back, just like so. And then our last step here is to take this pin and just put that back in here. So, you know, like I said, this is not a glamorous firearm. You're not going to win any awards. You may not want to carry because it's a little heavy. But for under $200, you get a functional firearm that's going to work. They make it in multiple calibers. I believe they have a 9 and a 40 Smith & Wesson, so a lot of your common calibers. And it works. It's fun to shoot. You can take it to the range. I don't know that you want to carry this big thing around, but for plinking or, you know, whatever, if you don't have much money to spend on a firearm, functionally it's solid. It doesn't seem to break. And some of that has to do with I think the lack of moving parts. A very simple design. And if it does break, it comes with a lifetime warranty for the original purchasing, according to the Hi-Point website. So one thing that we've also learned about this Hi-Point is it will not fire without your magazine in. So you have a magazine safety. If you notice here, I cannot pull the trigger, you can't hear a click. If you listen here now that the magazine's in, you can hear the click there. And then also, you do need to drop the magazine to get the slide to go forward, it appears. Again, no click, and click. So I want to thank you again for watching Nick's Shooting Channel. I hope you enjoy this Hi-Point Firearm 45 ACP review. If you have any comments or if you'd like to like the video, please do so below. And I would appreciate anyone who would subscribe to the channel and also share the link to any videos you might find interesting or to the channel itself with your friends and family. Thank you very much and have a good day.